All right, I'll call the meeting to order. Funding applications, we'll start with Palace Ice Festival. And Brian Bolche.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good day. It's wonderful snowy weather out, so appreciate you guys taking time. Like I said, quite a few familiar faces here again, so good to see all of you. As you guys know, you saw the application there. This will be our 8th annual Palace Ice Festival. This year, it's going to be held this weekend, actually. We have 104 entries. Same number of skaters, pretty close as last year. And we have clubs from Pierre, Sioux Falls, and our club. We have skaters from Rapid City and some from Wyoming coming. So kind of a diverse group. Our judges this year, we have a referee coming, and these are all U.S. figure skating sanctioned judges. As I know last year we had some discussion on it. These some, if not most of these judges have judged in the type of U.S. nationals or in Olympics. So they're really beneficial for our kids. The chief referee, she's from Granada Hills, California. One of our judges is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. One is from Roseville, Minnesota, and the other is from Sunfish Lake, Minnesota. And then we have to have our own accountants through the U.S. Figure Skating Association as well. We're using the same accountant as last year from Rapid City. So with that, we went into it a little bit. We've got about the same amount of skaters. We've got 104 entries into the 56 events for the 2-day, and then we run a test session as well. The thing that we talked about last year is our biggest expenses is our judging, bringing them all in, and you guys know that. We have to pay. They don't get any. They do this because they love to do it. So we fund their expenses in here. So one of the things we did this year is last year we had a little heavier loss in our prediction tables. This year we tightened down on the judges a little bit. We got one a little closer from Minnesota, which is going to help us a little bit. They're all still U.S. sanctioned, and so on. So as you guys know, expenses, airline travel, everything has kind of risen a little bit. So we went in, pretty much everything else is going to be very similar. Our city ice, the hours, the dollars are going to be very close to the same as last year. The little bit of increase that did was nominal. I mean, it was only a couple dollars. So those costs, everything else is going to be pretty much standard. So as you saw in the profit and loss, we're looking at about a break even. Last year we were about $1,000 loss with it. I know the question was, would you guys still continue with it? Yes, we would, because this year our event is actually, if you place in it, we're one of the 2 in South Dakota that are going to be sanctioned for show that if you place in ours, you qualify to go to Boston if you so choose to the Nationals. So we're one other one. So we're really trying to step the game up a little bit. Another thing that we've done already, last year we said we'd use some of the proceeds to stick into our skaters, coaches, and clinics. We've already held a clinic this fall with skating coaches from Minnesota, and we just held one over New Year's. You probably maybe heard about it or seen it a little bit. We tried to get the daily out there, but she's from Rapid City. She's a 4-goal level, only one in South Dakota skater. She's a sophomore at the University of Minnesota on synchronized figure skating. So she did a day-and-a-half clinic with our kids too, and I'll tell you what, as a parent I learned a lot, just the dedication and so on. So really we would ask for some support from you guys. It's very beneficial to the kids and the skaters to bring us coaches in. This year we've got coaches from Sioux Falls and another gal from Sioux Falls, but she's actually going to Vermilion on a higher level. Another thing we did this year, we actually started virtual. So we invested in a camera. So one of our coaches is actually she's down in Florida now. So we'll do some virtual coaching with that. So some of the things we're trying to stick back into our skaters. We do have another skater that's gonna, probably two, one for sure, that we're gonna go in XL Series with her. Probably going to, it depends how she places. Might have to take her to another competition. That would place her. If she does good, then she'll qualify for nationals as well. So every year we try to do that. We had one really close last year, so we'll see where it goes. So any questions for me? I think I covered a lot of the stuff. I know you got a lot on your agenda. I just want to keep it moving. So any support that you guys do for us is really grateful.
Any questions?
Do you charge an admittance fee for somebody who watches?
Not for the competition.
Okay.
The one thing we did do, we raised our competition entrance fee. We caught a lot of guff over it. We raised it a little bit, so we got about the same amount of skaters, but we got a few less entries into the events. So the trade-off is going to be about a wash we're anticipating on the income. Last year, we had a few more starts. We had about the same amount of skaters, but due to we got some feedback on it. We tried to listen to you guys as well, what we need to do. Costs are going up a little bit, so we raised it a little bit. So it's about a break even. We did get some feedback, but we don't charge entry fee for this. What we do charge entry fees for is our winter show that we just had, a holiday show. Actually went off very well. We had the innovative rink. The bleachers were full. Really surprised us. So we do a spring show coming up, and that's actually a performance that we do. The kids do that. That's our larger one. We do that in the Toshiba rink. This one we did in the innovative rink. We charge it's not a lot, $2 or $5 a family. We want to keep it respectable, but we've had some people say you need to charge a little bit more, so we'll take a look at it. But we're looking at doing that, and maybe we can even try to do something for work with maybe doing a preliminary one for maybe some of the assisted livings or things like that. So just other aspects we're trying to look at, other opportunities. Has no really bearing on this ice festival, but that's what we try to do with some of the money other than we're sticking into our skaters. We're trying to benefit the community as well. So.
Anything else?
Ron, your out-of-town people, are they generally here for one night or 2 nights? or-
Usually they're here for one night, and then we do the clinic. When we had those here, they're for one night.
Okay.
So we kind of, you saw our flyer, we tell them, or we give them a list of some of the hotels we can't, where they stay, we don't control that. I mean, we give them some of the hotels and list them. We get some support from our hotels. So, and without support of our sponsors, it'd be just like anything else, it'd be tough. But, so typically, so for the clinics, we had 4 coaches staying here overnight for the one this fall. They're from Minneapolis area and Shakopee. And then the skaters, we had some from Pierre come in there. And then the clinic that we just had too, we had some overnight. So then our judges will fly them in here and they'll stay here 2 nights, some are 3, but most of the time it's at least 2. So,
Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you.
hey, thank you.
Mr. Tronis, your turn.
Before Dave presents here, I'm just going to share a couple video clips of our Olympic team here. Share one more. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. Mr. Helloyd asked me to come and talk about this, bringing the Olympic team here, mainly because I'm the culprit behind getting them here. So for those that don't know me, I started, one of the founding guys that started hockey in Mitchell. I've been in almost every position. I was on the board of directors, USA Hockey, so I got to know a lot of the people in the hockey community around the country. And Dan Brennan, who's the director of USA Hockey for the disabled section, last year he said, Dave, he says, we want to come to South Dakota. And I said, well, I know where you can come. I said, come right to Mitchell. USA Hockey is a 501c3 nonprofit. We have approximately, it's more than 600,000 members in USA Hockey. That's players, coaches, referees, volunteers. They're the recognized governing body for hockey in the United States, and they go from 5-year-olds to the Olympic players. I asked Aaron to show you the sled hockey video because I'm sure not many people have seen sled hockey. And it's a tremendously physical sport for these people that have disabilities. And typically they're people with lower body extremity issues. The veterans, there's on this team of 20, there's 6 veterans that have suffered amputations due to the war. They'll take any disability, but typically it's lower body. And the reason I got involved, we had a clinic here a few years ago with the Siouxland sled hockey team. And we were there, we brought a couple Olympians in, and this 19-year-old man came up and he said, you know, the only time I feel normal is when I'm on the ice. And it really touched me. And so I've kind of taken a passion with sled hockey, and I do whatever I can to help them where I can. This team that's coming here is the Olympic, it's the USA Hockey National Olympic Team. In the last 10 years, they've won 4 gold medals, beating Canada. They've had 5 world championships, and it's really quite an honor to get the team to come to South Dakota. It's a big thing for us. And this is a 4-day practice session. They'll have 2 practices a day for the 4 days. They really work hard. I mean, they have their own nutritionist that flies with them because they work so hard they have to get the right nourishment back in their systems. So they'll be here for 4 days. They're going to have their practices. It's open to the public. We have Midco Sports is going to cover it. We've got TV stations from Sioux Falls will be in to cover it. Obviously, the Daily is already on board. We're going to have a fun thing on Saturday afternoon. The national team will scrimmage the local sled team. The local sled team is called Siouxland Sled, and they have 60 members. There's a young Mitchell boy, Mr. Heyer, his name is Heyer. He plays on that team. So it's going to be a big deal for us. And like I said, they're all 501c3. They're a nonprofit. All the funds that they get are from the membership and from donations and corporate sponsors. So what will they contribute while they're here in Mitchell? Well, they're going to have at least 96 room nights at the Comfort, plus the Siouxland team is bringing, I think they're going to have 10 or 15 rooms for at least one night. They have Piro's is catering all the meals. They're going to do three meals a day, and it's roughly a little over 7,000. They have rented vans from Iverson's. We're going to have a meet and greet at Blarney's on the Saturday night. It's open to anybody that wants to meet the Olympic teams. And we're going to have a tri-sled hockey for free on Saturday afternoon. What we do is if there's any people with disabilities that want to try it, they're there. I mean, it's there for them to try. It's kind of fun that during the Pink the Rink this last weekend, we had some of our varsity players get on a sled. Watch it fall all over the place. I mean, this is it's a difficult thing to do. But, you know, we're gonna have it, try it for free, see if people get interested, if we can get more people involved that have a disability, give them an opportunity to do something if they choose to, and we make it available. And so I don't believe we've ever had an entire Olympic team come to South Dakota before, of any sport that I know of. I could be wrong, but So it's really a great opportunity for Mitchell and the state of South Dakota. So any help you could give the team would be greatly appreciated, and I know USA Hockey would appreciate any support. So I'm glad to answer any questions, if you have any.
When is it again?
They come in on the 17th, and they leave on the 21st. The first practice Wednesday night, the 17th, and then it's 2 days. And Saturday, like, it'll be open all day. They'll have 2 practice there. The Siouxland sled will be there, and it'll be nonstop.
Dave, this is a great deal for Mitchell. Typically, where have they gone to do this before? I mean,
Big cities down south where it's nice and warm
Yeah.
typically.
yeah.
We had a couple of them actually says, why are we going to South Dakota when it's cold in January? But Dan Brennan says, because we've never been there. And we're great supporters of hockey up here, so.
Appreciate you bringing them.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Barcher, you're up. Or Mr. Christensen's talking.
Thanks for having me. The Culver's Classic, just a few details on this. I know Brad and John have presented in the past. We've been doing this Culver's Classic 15 years for boys now and 9 for girls. Kind of the history behind that is I got hired 14 years ago, and it was just a boys' classic on Saturday. Dan Sabers was the one that kind of started all this. And then him and I brainstormed together because a lot of schools had that Friday off because of conferences. And so we decided let's bring girls in too because they weren't in school anyway. So that's kind of how it was, both boys and girls. So just because I was getting some stuff together today, I'm kind of getting thrown in the fire with this as far as I was trying to go through some numbers that John had. John's no longer our athletic director, if you guys didn't know. And so there is, we made some calls, Brad and I did here about an hour ago. There's basically 10 teams of, there's 9 games on Friday, 8 games on Friday, 9 games on Saturday. So there's 9 girls teams, 15 boys teams. There'll be 10 teams we feel that'll spend the night. We made some calls to either their AD or coach. There's a couple overlaps, so like Tommy Moore, Hamlin, and St. Thomas More, they have 2 teams. They'll bring a boys and a girls. So the nice thing, like for Tommy Moore, they'll probably come together because they're going to come down to support their girls on Friday. And I will tell you this, the same thing I told you in the early bird that we had in May, I control the schedule, our group does, and so we made sure some of those teams in baseball had a 9 o'clock game, so they don't have a choice but to spend the night. Now, we won't start on Friday until I think our first game's at 11, am I correct with that? 10? 10 on Friday, so we do have some control over that. Like I just told Jones County, just because where they're seated, they're probably going to get a 10 o'clock game or 11:30, so with that being said, like, I know for sure 3 of the teams are going to come on a Thursday instead of a Friday because they asked about practicing at my facility. So they have a place to practice that night or the next day for a shoot-around. So I can promise you that we'll probably have that, I would say for sure 8, but possibly 10 that'll be spending the night. As far as where this money goes, refs, this year we're going to have to go to $100. It used to be 80. T-shirts, food, table workers, just your normal things to run a basketball tournament. You need all those things. And then just so I don't know if anybody knows the profits that we make off this, where that money goes to. When Dan started this here 15 years ago, that money goes back to the men's and women's basketball program, but it goes into scholarships. That's what we do with a lot of our money is we put it back there. We either put it in our fundraising account, but a lot of it does go into scholarships or, I know I'm not sure what Matt exactly uses it for, but I use mine. Like I can take Isabel Eaton, for instance. I recruited Isabel. She had X amount of dollars and I kind of missed on her. She ended up being a better player than what I thought she would be. Well, her package is already set, but I can use funds like this to put on top of her scholarship money for the following years. So that's what I use a lot of this kind of money for, so just so you guys know. But yeah, questions?
John? You're too thorough.
I'll answer if you have any, so. All right, I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Thanks for having me. John, the women's coach, he is teaching a class right now, so he can't be here. But I want to start by reminding you what we discussed last year. So last year, John and I, obviously this is our second year here now as the men's and women's coaches. And last year, the goal was just to get the tournament running again because we saw a decrease in teams that signed up just because Clay had left and he had a lot of contacts to other different club teams. And we said, well, we want to just get the tournament rolling and then get involved in the community here and outside of Mitchell to try to spike the interest again. And what we did this year now, so first of all, what's been really good is both of our teams have increased in numbers and performance. So we both made it to the quarterfinals since a long time. So that's really good. We also are invited to Mitchell Soccer Association in February to be part of their committee meeting to talk to them about a few camps we can do with them. And then what we did, so we found out actually that the main player or the main team that didn't show up last year was Dakota Alliance out of Sioux Falls. So we decided to coach them. So now they're going to show up this year. So in the spring, John and I are coaching an under-16 team, and we've developed a really good relationship with them. And they're going to bring up to 20 teams more to add to the tournament this year. And then something that's even better for the city of Mitchell is John has a lot of contact to Nebraska, and I do to Minnesota. And so we're going to have teams come from those areas, and those are not the teams like Dakota Alliance that will just drive home and then come back the next day. They have to actually stay here. So if you look at the history, like from 2017 to 2022, it was just South Dakota and North Dakota teams, and now we're estimating to have to add Minnesota and Nebraska to that. Let's see. Last year's profit loss statement, the only really big surprise there was the championship medals. We did not expect that it would be that much of a cost. Also, because in the previous years they had ordered so much that we had so much left over. So in our first year, that was just a big, cost that we didn't expect. Moving forward with the tournament, so it's February 23rd to the 25th. A few updates or, quality assurance things that we're making is number one, the referee assigner we had. And if you remember last year, that was the big cost that we cut. So in the past, the referee certifications and assignment fee and all that was at like $6,000 to $7,000. And the way we cut it was with the work of our students. So they get certified or recertified themselves, and they actually are the referee. So we don't have to pay referees to come in and pay them like $50 per game, because at a youth tournament like that, there is an incredible amount of games. But the referee assigner we had last year, so it's one basically professional referee that's there to help coach our students and answer any questions. He didn't do a great job. He actually, one of the games he refereed ended up in a fight, which hurts the quality of the tournament. It's actually fairly interesting that the most experienced guy wasn't able to keep a game under control, but our 18-year-olds did. But that's a different topic. But I actually, since we've been here for 2 years now, we've gotten to know the GPAC referees really well. And one of them, Tim Thomas, he is an outstanding referee. I mean, I've been around the sport for 24 years now, and never have I ever received an email from a referee after a game asking for evaluation and what he can do better. He is a really good referee, and we're getting him as the assigner this year, which might cost us more than $500, but it's going to be worth for the quality of the tournament, because we don't want teams getting into fights and not coming back because of that. So getting a quality referee to help us out with that will be really beneficial for the tournament. So we predict that there's going to be more teams. It's going to be higher quality. I think we've held on to the promise of getting involved in the Mitchell and in the Sioux Falls area. We're starting to coach the Sioux Falls Thunder team in Sioux Falls as well, which is an NPSL team. So if you're talking soccer, we're now involved at high school, club, college, and past college semi-pro team within the area. So that should be a big draw for teams to come here. The grant we request is going to be used for the same thing. It's mainly the outsourced expenses, so that would be the custodians and everything that has to do with referee. The certifications that we have to do, again, the guys and girls always have to get certified and recertified. And then the assignment fees, which again, that could be up to $600 now with having a quality referee. And then we obviously want to feed the guys and girls and the referee as well. So that's what we use it for most of the time. And again, it kind of serves as a reward as well. If our guys and girls are going to referee, I mean, they're going to referee from 8 a.m. to like 6 p.m. for 3 days in a row. So just to cut the costs there. And they end up actually being better than the professional referees. So it kind of serves as a reward for them as well. But again, I think the increase of the grant would be justified by the increase of amount of teams and where they're coming from. So any questions from your end?
And we all recognize it takes someone to be involved in those club sports,
Mm-hmm.
not only locally, but outside the community. So it's obviously showing that, you know, adding could be possibly 30 to 40 teams. So congratulations on doing that. I know that's a lot of work and time outside your regular duties.
Appreciate it. You should come by and watch it. 5v5 indoor soccer is exciting. It's very exciting.
We lowered your grant request last year just because of the number of teams, right?
Yes, yeah, it used to be, so the grant I think used to be, was it at 4,000? And then last year we requested 1.5 just because we were, you know, humble and let's restart this. And I didn't want to jump back up to 4,000. I know that your funds are limited too, so we just, as the teams increase, we want to slightly increase it as well.
Anything else?
I don't want to change the subject, but you said that you've kind of gotten together with the Mitchell Soccer
Mhm.
Association a little bit more. I'm
Yes.
hearing rumors that maybe you guys might be working on some kind of a tournament for like the spring or the summer.
Yeah, do you want me to talk about that too? So we obviously work together with the maintenance guys at the field as well, where, I mean, we see them every single day, and working with Aaron as well. John and I just realized, like, it's a shame that the fields are never being used over the summer, really. And there's multiple ways to do that. So one thing we thought of was to create a summer tournament that's similar to this indoor tournament, just outside, going from U8 to U19. Now, getting that started is complicated because you have your well-established tournaments that Dakota Lions in Sioux Falls has, or in Brookings, there's a club team as well. So most of the time when clubs choose where to go, they choose their well-established tournaments. So we have to kind of draw them here. And maybe a way of doing that is to just start with under 16 to under 19 probably, and have all of our GPAC coaches come out and market it as a, hey, this is a college ID almost. So everyone in high school, freshman to senior, come out, and as that after the first year, now that they go around saying, hey, in Mitchell in the summer there is a tournament with 40 teams, maybe 20 to 40 teams where college coaches are all over the fields watching you. Now we can start digging into the youth part as well. So that would be predicted in like 3 to 4 years to be a proper outdoor youth to U19 tournament. Another thing we thought about was to create a summer league. So like in Sioux Falls, there is a summer league going on where anybody who wants to, it's an adult league, plays 11v11. And we've heard from the DOC of Dakota Alliance that he said maybe we can do a location in Mitchell as well. And so that's something, I mean, when I'm here in the summer working on the locker room or out on the fields, I always see 16 to 30-year-olds out on the field in the summer playing soccer. So that's something we can think about, is creating a summer league, just a competitive summer league that we can referee as well. So there's different ways, but we're going to try for sure to start with a summer tournament. So under 16 to under 19, and the tentative date is the 24th and 25th of May. So we just have to make a few calls and see how many teams we can get here. And again, even if it's just starting with 20 teams, it's not really the number of teams. It's if we can get 20 teams here, but I get all the GPAC coaches to come watch, then it's going to become a big deal to those teams. They're going to send them. So.
Great idea.
Yep, and not just GPAC. I mean, we know plenty of coaches in the surrounding, like the RMAC, the Division II conference, and all of that, and the neighboring NAI conferences. So there is no problem to call up college coaches and say, do you want to come here and watch? And that will just make it a higher quality tournament. Yep.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, you got to make a call.
I do.
I'm gonna be here.
You might have some. I don't.
You gonna do an amateur hour?
Yeah.
At the tone, please
Junior, you're calling her, right? You got time.
We do have another meeting that doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No.
All right. All right, I guess that, we'll put that one on the next month. Okay, we got approval of minutes from the December 12th meeting.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Grivna. I want to call you Mr. Smith.
Whichever.
Second by Mr. McCarroll. Further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Financial report?
Smith and McCardle for the approval.
Yes.
Okay, SEA financials as of January 5th. A fund balance here of $87,292.02. Here's our list of committed items that checks have not been written yet. This amount for the upcoming Spring Special Olympics basketball and Sodak volleyball, the funding awards will be submitted and sent out, or submitted and then collected here hopefully by the February meeting. So with those deducted, that gives us the current available fund balance, $42,642.02. Yeah, I think we were at 24 or 26. If we look at the total collections by month here, so this was the collection collected in December for our November records. We were at 17,824. We still have 3 hotels that have not submitted yet. And looking back at the last 2 years, if, I guess they follow suit, with amounts that put us just under 20,000. Again, if they follow suit as far as the past 2 years.
You mean the people who haven't paid yet?
The 2 and 3 hotels, yeah.
Is that based on the 50 cents? Or the?
That would be based on 50 cents if he's looking at previous years.
Yeah.
Because this is December collections and November collections. We haven't hit the new January 1st yet. Those haven't been submitted.
Collecting the $2.
Right.
So the 233,622.50 was the year-to-date. In comparison to 2021 or 2022, where we're down 4.5%. Compared to 2021, down 1.8%. Comparison to 2020, up 24.3%. Compared to 2019, down 2.3%. And compared to 2018, down 2.9%.
That's just because the 3 aren't reported yet. He still has, how much more did you say, 20,000 coming in? That'll put you at or above those other years.
2,000,
Yeah.
if it goes
You said 2 or 20?
2,000.
Oh,
Or well,
2,000.
it would put us just under 20,000 if we get
Oh,
similar to
I see what you're saying, okay. Yeah, so we'll still be down from those years, just not as much.
I guess total hotel room numbers, year-to-date, 155,748 rooms through November.
Say that again?
748 total hotel rooms.
Room nights?
Room nights sold. Nice. Okay.
Okay, anything else on financial report?
No.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the financials.
Motion by Doug.
Second.
LaRue, was that you? Larry? Okay. All right, all those in favor of the, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Evaluation forms and financial surveys. Aaron?
We have 3 of these that were submitted. First one was from the Disc Golf Championship that we hosted here at the end of September, the 22nd through the 24th. Looks just a bit different, the evaluation form. We had added a question about the expectations of the event and if they were met. They said a 5 exceeded expectations. And then we just asked for any additional feedback, any positive takeaways, ways that SEA can assist in the growth of the event. Carrie definitely appreciated the grant help. Went to those expenses, porta potties. I know they had to submit a special event permit for the park closure. Total number of participants right at 100. Room nights, he thought right around 50. They host their annual Mitchell Open in July. SEA awarded $1,500. And again, the funds were used for the following. No profit because any of the revenue collected went to the prize fund per se, similar to the pool tournament that was hosted. It was paid back to the players. Second evaluation form was from the Palace City Kiwanis Half Marathon Relay 5K, 10K. Hosted October 1st. They gave it a 4 out of 5. Their numbers were up from the previous, I believe, 2 or 3 years, 20% from last year. They had 225 total participants. About 40 room nights is what they estimated. 2,000 was awarded from SEA, used for the race medals. And I know they brought the race medals that they used during their presentation, and they were pretty cool. Any profit, again, goes to the Kiwanis Woodlot Park improvements, scholarships, Abbott House, just children initiatives throughout the city of Mitchell. They submitted their profit loss for the event. Net income of $6,928.44. And the last evaluation form that was submitted in a timely manner, Dakota Riptide, that was here December 1st to the 3rd. The event met expectations, 282 swimmers, 65 room nights, $3,750 was awarded from SEA, used to pay for the pool, sound system, lifeguard wages, other facility expenses. And the profits to help the swim team and monthly dues affordable. This was their financial summary. The profit was $16,349.97.
You remember, was that a Friday night, Saturday event? Yeah.
And Sunday.
I think some of
It
them
was
came in
Sunday, too.
Thursday.
My family stayed Friday, Saturday night because my nephew swam Saturday, Sunday. There was a ton of people there.
And then just wanted to share banners on display. We had one SEA event in between the meetings here, the Hoop City Classic. And they had the SEA logo on the second page of their program. We also posted the logo throughout the game's halftime on the Daktronic boards in the Corn Palace. That was just their full program that they had. Just share some upcoming events here. We continue Mitchell High School girls and boys basketball, as well as DW women's and men's basketball here up until the next February meeting. The bolded events here were SEA awarded events, so we have this weekend the Hanson Girls Classic. As Dave presented, we have the Paralympic team here January 17th through January 20th. January 19th is a Friday night, a comedy night at the Highland. The Hanson Boys Classic, the following Saturday here, January 20th. We have the Friend Day Coup Show Choir Community Show, January 23rd. Last weekend of January here, we have the 25th through the 27th is the Dakota Awati Challenge. That same weekend is Winter Crazy Days here on Main Street. Wednesday, January 31st, Mitchell Virtual Job Fair. Thursday, February 8th, the No-Till Association hosts their Mitchell Soil Health event. And as presented here as well, the February 9th and 10th, we host the DW Culver's Girls and Boys Classic. Full list of events. The Mitchell Chamber has their events calendar that has more details about these as well. Then if we want to talk about the next agenda, look a little different.
After you go in to talk about the applications, after you're done with the review.
Okay, you gonna turn us off so we can go back into?
Next meeting date, February 13th.